Welcome to Tell to Trevor. I'm your host, Trevor Shelley, and today on my podcast I have Leah, the Firecracker Sparks.
Yes, you do. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks, Trevor.
So, my first question I always ask, what sparked your interest in the professional wrestling industry?
Yeah, I always loved it growing up. My grandparents were big fans of it, so it was kind of on in the household. That trickled down to my father and then me and my sisters, and we would watch it. And I remember I'd always get to stay up late on Monday nights, to be able to watch Raw. So that was always exciting. And yeah, it was just something that I loved, and it came in and out of my life a lot. I
Yeah.
always wanted to do it, but I was like, I don't know if that's actually possible. It didn't seem achievable. Um, so I never really chased it, but I did other things like gymnastics and theater and now circus. And then it led me back to wrestling. So I was very happy for that.
Who were your wrestling mentors growing up?
I was a big fan of Rey Mysterio. I'm short. I'm 5'2", and I'm pretty small, so I always gravitated towards him because he was always the underdog fighting up. And yeah, it just resonated with me. I also thought he was very authentic, and how he connected with an audience was it really connected to me,
Yeah.
and it stuck with me for still to this day. And so he was a big push forwards, for me wanting to do this and
Yeah.
thinking that I could, like, later on being like, "Yeah, you know what? Why am I holding myself back? I can do this." There's not one look, even though we might predominantly see a wrestling figure as someone who's big and tall and buff, whether
Mhm.
you're male, female, or whoever. um I was like, "No, it could be me too." And I hope that people seeing that also can see me now and be like, "Oh, I'm a little, short and maybe a bit
Mhm.
smaller in my frame, and I can beat people up too."
How did you get your start in the wrestling world?
I moved to Montreal to pursue circus, so that's where I'm at a circus studio right now training. So that's my job outside of wrestling. I balance the two of them. And in moving to Montreal to pursue circus on a grander scale, I was looking for something to shake my routine up a little bit because I train pretty extensively day to day with circus. And of course, I couldn't pick anything normal or easy.
Mm.
I picked pro wrestling because it was something I always wanted to do. And I messaged the studio, they responded back, and now I'm happily training at IWS here in Montreal. And I'm there about 2, 3 times a week on top of my circus and on top of like 2 to 3 shows as well for wrestling. So
Okay.
it's a packed schedule, but that's how I started my journey, is moving here for circus and somehow finding the world of pro wrestling.
What was your first wrestling match like?
My first wrestling match.
Your first ever wrestling
Oh,
match?
okay, I was in a rumble
Okay.
and I was so nervous, um, because it's already intimidating to do a match, and
Yeah.
especially if you hadn't done one before. Let alone to go into a rumble with, like, 20 to 30 other people. I was very nervous, but the type of person I am, I'm just like, "Let's do this anyways. Let's give it your best try, and if you fail, you'll keep going. It's not really a fail. It's your
Yeah.
first match ever." So I came out first, which that's also nerve-wracking. So not only am I trying to fight 30 people, but I'm first one out there, so
Yes.
that was scary. Or second. I might have been first or second, but definitely we started it.
Mhm.
And, yeah, but once it was done, I was really happy and excited to keep going. And then, I think 2.5, 3 weeks later, I had my first singles match against another wrestler here in Montreal named Drea Mitchell, who is really awesome. You guys should look her up if you don't already. And, yeah, the ball just kept rolling from there.
What are your goals for the future in the wrestling industry?
Yeah, last year was my first rookie year, so honestly, the only goal that I set was to have fun. And I know that sounds so, okay,
Yeah.
but it was really my goal. And then halfway through the year, I came up with another goal, which was to finish at least a year because it's a hard environment. And as much as I love it, it's very hard. Um, on the mental and emotional side. The physical, it's hard too, but I think with my background, I'm used to training like that and um, kind of hurting my bodies in ways that it's not supposed to. So that
Sure.
was okay, but it was more the mental emotional. So my second goal was to finish the year, and I did. And now in 2025, my goal is to make goals. So I've made a few. I'm coming in with a lot of ambition this year. I want to wrestle more. I want to wrestle more places. I want to have some big matches that I'm really, really proud of. And that's not to say I wasn't proud of anything I did last year, but I'm ready to really step up my game and wrestle wherever, whenever, get noticed, and the sky's the limit. But
Yeah.
ambition is the word that I'm using for this year. I have ambition and I'm fucking going.
Yeah. Can you describe your wrestling persona or character to someone that has not seen you wrestle before?
Like, who is Leah?
Yes.
Yeah, Leah is very friendly person. She doesn't like bullying.
Oh,
Um, Even though she has that kind, nice spirit about her, she can be ruthless, but it's always going to be for the right reasons. She is a fighter, and people might mistaken that when they get a first glimpse because she's very feminine and girly. She wears pink and frills, but she will fight for the right reasons and for the right people, and if those people get behind her, she is there with you,
mhm.
and hopefully winning for you, and, that's who Leah is. She is a wonderful, nice human being who is also very courageous, very relentless, very resilient, and a fighter. At the end of the day, she is a fighter, but for the right reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you share a memorable moment from your rookie year?
Yeah, I think being able to wrestle for IWS, which is my home dojo, but it's also a big
Yeah.
federation, not just here in Montreal, but it is pretty recognized nationally and internationally. So when I was offered to debut at their biggest show of the year last year in March at Uneffing Sanctioned, I was thrilled. I was surprised. I didn't know that I was going to be included in that, and just to be offered a spot. It was on the pre-show, but it was still a spot in a huge venue, a huge show. And that show is coming around again this year in March. So IWS is having their big show on Effing Sanction, but 2025. And we'll see what's in store for Leah Sparks. Maybe
Yeah.
something, maybe nothing. I don't know. But that was definitely a standout moment. And it led to other standout moments throughout my journey at IWS on their other shows.
How do you handle the mental and emotional aspects of wrestling?
Yeah, that's hard. Honestly, it's day to day, and I'm grateful that I have my circus outlet and I'm an artist. So when I am having a hard day, I can always channel that into my art and into my performance. Whether it's I'm having a hard day with circus or I'm having a hard day with wrestling, I also have a good support system around me. I try to surround myself with people who are very authentic and honest, and they will tell me what I need to hear and not always what I want to hear. And I think that's something that has helped me. They're there to listen and they're there to guide me, and I'm very grateful for them. But yeah, I just even today, like it wasn't from wrestling, but I've been struggling with some stuff that's happens with circus emotionally, and instead of staying home and getting down about it, I talked to a good friend who I hadn't seen in a while, and then I decided I'm gonna channel this into motivation and not let it keep me down, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go on my hoop and fly, and sure enough, I did, and I came up with some fun sequences, and I'm inspired, so I try to channel it into inspiration if I can, and of course,
Yeah.
I'm like everyone else, human beings, we're gonna have down days, and some days it
Mhm.
is just a dark day at home, but you keep on pushing through.
So I have a segment called Trev Shock. It's We've been having this segment for roughly almost a year on the show. Um, we made some changes as this is our third season. Um, so you have 50 seconds to answer 6 questions. They are simple questions, in my opinion. Um, you ready to start?
I'm ready.
Okay. And then people, if you've never heard of it, Stone Cold Steve Austin does his own too. And same thing, like if you're in a business meeting, there's popcorn questions that they have you answer.
Yep.
It's the same style.
Amazing. I'm ready. I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
All right. Favorite pre-show snack.
Oh, okay. Bananas are good because they'll give you an hour of energy.
Favorite song to listen to before a show.
I have a Leah Sparks playlist. There's too many songs to list, but it's very poppy and very girly.
Favorite wrestler growing up.
Rey Mysterio.
Favorite sports team.
Ugh, I don't really like sports, but Toronto Raptors, I guess, to represent my home city.
Favorite color.
Pink, but actually orange.
Favorite type of music.
I personally like classical music, rap. Those are like my two faves.
Okay. And you beat it with. That's
Oh, it was a
10
couple.
seconds.
Look at that. I beat the clock. Thank
I had
you.
to do that math because I don't have my other phone with me that has my stopwatch on it.
That's okay. We did it though.
Yeah. What are the biggest challenges of being a professional wrestler outside of the ring?
I think it's managing your life.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I always talk about the two worlds because they parallel each other. My circus and my wrestling, that's very hard to juggle. But I'm grateful that my wrestling's in the evening and my circus is during the day. The only times that there might be a conflict is if contracts overlap. So if I get a
Yeah.
contract for circus and a contract for wrestling, then it really comes down to the opportunity. So navigating that is very hard and difficult at times. Um, Outside of that, like maintaining your physique, but also having fun
Yeah.
and spending time with friends and family when you already have such a jam-packed schedule and also working. I teach circus. I'm a coach, I'm a director, and just finding pockets of time to work with my students. So it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard. I don't know how to do it, but somehow it's going. So hopefully whatever I'm doing is working, but I can't formally articulate it correctly.
Yeah. How do you feel about the business side of wrestling and the role of promotions in shaping storylines?
Okay, interesting, because that could be kind of interpreted in multiple ways. So kind of what do
Yeah.
you mean by the business of wrestling?
Um, like when they're trying to promote storylines for their show to get bigger
Yeah,
or
amazing.
telling stories.
Well, I'm a storyteller, so I have a background in theater. I went to a conservatory program. I trained there for 3 years very extensively. From there, I moved on to becoming a competitive athlete. I saw world competitions, but all of my acts, like all of the things that I competed in, had a story at the end of the
Yeah.
day. And then that transcended to circus, which now wrestling. And all of them, the main through line is storytelling. So I love when wrestling really intersects with storytelling. Um, in any form, whether it's a bit more soap opera-y or a bit more human and realistic. I love it. I think it's necessary. It helps me perform. I feel like I have more meat to chew on when I go out there. And if I'm not giving something, say it's just a match to do a match, I will, in my own head or with my partners, come up with a story from bell to bell and still try to tell something. Because at the end of the day, we are storytellers, but in a very athletic form. I
Yeah.
look at it personally as a physical text. Whether it's my circus work or it's my wrestling work, what I'm doing with my body is conveying a story. I'm just not really using my words. Wrestling, you can, like, you can talk, but in circus, you don't. So, yeah.
If you could wrestle any legendary wrestler from the past, who would it be and why?
I think it would be Rey Mysterio. I would learn so much. Like, I mean, who wouldn't want to wrestle the person they looked up to? So it's
Yeah.
such a question that's like, okay, that's the answer, obviously, but
Yeah.
it's the honest answer, so I'm gonna go with it. It's Rey Mysterio.
If you could attend a wrestling training session with any wrestler, who would you pick?
It would be Rey Mysterio. I'd be like, teach me everything. How much time do we have? Do we have enough
Yeah.
time? Probably not to learn everything, but yeah, him. I mean, if Eddie Guerrero was still alive too, I mean, having both of them would be
Yeah.
magical, but yeah,
If you could have a wrestling legend as your mentor, who would you choose?
it's gonna be Ray. I mean, he is a legend. He's in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
now, so very much him. I'm committed. It's like that game with the two faces. and I'm just gonna keep picking Rey Mysterio.
Yeah. All right. So on WWE 2K24, I have a universe called the Shockverse. It's basically like your Monday Night Raws or
Yeah,
Friday Night SmackDowns, NXT,
fun.
AEW, or TNA. So we have a world title, a tag title, and a mid card. Which title would you go for?
What one would I go for?
Yeah,
Okay, I'd probably do a mid-card title. Here's my reason. Because I want a place to work up from. I
yeah.
want to, kind of like highlight that, be the biggest form of that, and then push myself even more. Like when I think that I've hit my peak, I haven't, and I still have somewhere to go. So honestly, that one.
What's your opinion on the wrestling crossover events with other sports and entertainment industries?
I think anything that can get more eyes on an industry in a positive way is always a good thing. So
Yeah,
as long as it's relationships that are healthy ones and healthy sports team, like there's no drama or they're not working with people who've been canceled and everyone's just having a good time. I can only see growth from there and getting more eyes, more exposure, and that only helps the business and it only helps all of us.
what advice would you give to an aspiring wrestler?
Go for it.
Go
Do
for
it.
it.
Don't wait. Don't wait like I did. Just go for it. If you can't figure out how to sign up for a class, just show up. Go to the address, be like, "Hey, how do I do this?" Because
Yeah,
that's what stopped me for so long is I saw these places where I could, but I never knew how to get in contact with them. It was like Fort Knox. I was like, "What is going on?" And then I waited for someone to respond, but don't. Just go for it. And
yeah.
if you are already a wrestler and you're trying to see how you can break out even more, I'd say shake it up. Go go to those places that you think will step up your training.
Hmm.
Like that's what I did with circus. I moved to Montreal because it's the mecca of circus and it just happens to be a great indie wrestling spot too. So, it's great for both.
Yeah. Can you talk about a significant feud you had and how it helped you grow as a wrestler?
I haven't had like a huge feud yet. I think because I've been so new and I've been in my rookie year, a lot of the work that I did, like I did 61 shows, but a lot of what I did was like spot shows or one offs. I didn't often get a chance to like maybe tell a longer storyline. Like I said, every match I did, I tried to give a story, but I didn't have too much opportunity. So I'm actually looking forward to that. That's something that I would love to have this year is a little bit more of a feud, a little bit more of history with people, and really getting the audience excited to follow along in our journeys and get behind one of us or both of us. And uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for that this year.
What was it like working with a particular wrestler that you really clicked with in the ring?
It's always so good. It's like harmonious because you really are trying to work together. So as much as I'm trying to make the other person look good, they're trying to make me look good. And I think it just makes for an amazing match. Um, I like when things are very collaborative. I thrive in those environments where we're springboarding ideas like, oh, I have this idea. Oh, this too. And then we like finalize it. And people who are willing to put in the work, people whose work ethic and goals align with mine, I find I'll connect to obviously more. And I think it'll show in the ring.
Yeah. Can you describe your training process and what was the most challenging part of learning to wrestle?
Yeah, I'm a very analytical person. I'm not visual. And in wrestling, oftentimes, as much as the coaches are breaking things down, they're demonstrating it. And if they're not saying it out loud, I won't be able to repeat what they're doing. It's a skill that I'm working on. Obviously, if I sit with a video on repeat, I can become a visual person. But if they've demoed it once or twice without analytically breaking it down, I struggle with that. I
Yeah.
actually can be coached in my circus work or in wrestling without a visual demonstration. Like if they can analytically be like, take your outside hand and grab their shoulder to the inside, bring your arm around to throw them. Like I that makes sense to my brain. So I find maybe learning in that way is oftentimes hard. And the hardest moments are maybe when I'm at a seminar or workshop where the environment is a bit more quicker paced. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to sharpen the tool of visual and putting myself in uncomfortable environments where I do have to train my eye just to pick up and then in my brain process, okay, that was their right leg stepping forwards. They turned into their left arm. Like that's how I'm looking at it. And I'm
Yeah.
learning how to adapt my learning style to the wrestling environment.
And then what hobbies bring you joy outside of the wrestling ring?
Yeah, I mean, circus, I keep saying it, circus and theater. I'm still very much connected to those worlds. I have an acting agent and I meet with a acting coach weekly. I have my circus work that I do as much as I can throughout the week.
Yeah.
So those are my favorite things to do. I always say I wish I was more interesting, but like my life is my art and it's very much circus, wrestling,
Yeah.
theater, and then chilling when I can.
Yeah. Like for me, I do like a
Yeah.
gaming channel and I run two other podcasts on the side of this.
My gosh, that's a lot to juggle. What are the other
Well,
podcasts?
one's a ice hockey one with my little brother.
Yeah. Is hockey your favorite sport?
I'm gonna say yes just because I play it currently and I'm how everybody I play against tell me I'm that person that has that hot head. If they don't even, you don't even know who they are, he's just gonna start talking trash to you the whole time.
It's almost like the moment you skate on the ice, you just transform. Like, who is this
Yes.
person? I love it. That's
I've
right. And
had
that's a very, I mean, that would translate to wrestling. All the
yeah,
body checks and everything. Damn, you
yeah.
could probably take a punch.
It's like me and my best well, one of my friends, we played against each other and I hated like everybody on his team without knowing any of them.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? He's gonna come over and try to be nice. And I'm like, no.
No, it's so interesting
Oh,
because I don't know you, but even just talking to you now, like you do have a very calm demeanor and how you talk is
yeah,
very like nice and leveled. So it would be interesting to see you in the rink being like, "Fuck
yeah.
you."
It's a lot of me
Yeah.
out there. Like I will slash people's hockey
Oh
sticks,
my God.
and then I just look at them and I'm like,
They
sorry, buddy, you're in the way.
better watch out for you, honestly. That's
Yes,
funny. But it's good. It's
because
nice that you have many outlets.
yes. And then the other one's a baseball one, just because I love talking about baseball outside of hockey and wrestling.
Yeah. Who's your favorite
Like
team?
the Atlanta Braves
Okay. I only really know the Blue Jays. Like I'm just around, but they're not that good, I don't think.
beats
They're
me.
like
I don't pay attention to them that much.
that means they're probably not that good. Yeah.
The only person I know about them is Guerrero Jr.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. My dad loves them, so we have like everything in the basement. Blue Jays.
That is basically my brother with the Charlotte Checkers, the local team in Charlotte.
Yeah.
He has signed jerseys to pucks, to two game use sticks, hockey socks that me and him both use out there
Probably so
because the team will
expensive.
give them to us. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, I'm Leah Sparks, so LeahSpark, and then four S's because all the handles with less S's were taken. So Leah Sparks with four S's. YouTube and Instagram are kind of like what I use primarily, but I'm trying to get a Twitter. It's so hard.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know how to navigate Twitter. I think I have like 7 followers. But if you find me, it's me. It probably looks like a fake account, but it's actually me. I just don't know how to
okay.
use it. So, Twitter, Leah Sparks, four S's.
And then what is your favorite gear that you have ever gotten made?
So, because I'm so new, I have not a lot of gear, but I have ordered 3 new gears. I'm crazy. I don't know why, but I did it. So when those come, I'm excited to see which one's going to be my favorite. So you'll have to stay tuned and see on my Instagram or my Twitter what outfits, I was gonna say costume, but it's gear,
Yeah.
wrestling gear, will be your favorite.
And then thank you, Leah, for being on the podcast.
Of course. Thank you, Trevor, for having me.
And then thanks to the sponsors of Wrestling Evolution and the TBD Wrestling Company in the Eastern Carolinas.
Amazing. They're making magic happen. Look at this.
And then, guys, we do have a t shirt contest with fans and wrestlers where you can win 5 designs, 5 different designs. They are professionally made by a company, I think, somewhere in the USA. So
Amazing.
everybody's welcome to enter in those contests. So, all right. See you guys next time.